Hey guys, I'll start in like literally just like another moment or so, probably at 5 after. I'm having a hellacious time trying to find a PNG and not a WebBP file. Just let me save these images, people, I swear. Also, Moxie, I saw that stream. You're crazy. You know what? Windows isn't real. The accident was years ago. Wake up. But yes, in the Q&A section, pop your answers. I will actually go through them a little bit later, specifically. Just gonna go top off my coffee because I'm going to need it for this particular stream. Well, all right. What's all this done? Volume too low? Hold on. That's what I was forgetting! Okay. 5 more seconds. I need to get my charger. My 1 second. The 1 more second that never ends. professional streamer, KATYA SABLE of Variance Projects Chapter 1, Equilibrium. I always arrive exactly when I need to. On time. With everything plugged in and charging and, working. Yes. Good morning. Katya, why are you doing a tier list? I thought you hated tier lists. This is no ordinary tier list. Why? You may be asking, is this not an ordinary tier list? Because we're actually going to be using this as a backdrop for some scenarios. We're going to be getting a little bit creative today. It's Christmas. Right on time despite being 8 minutes late. Nuh-uh. I'm not late if I warned you. I'm not late if I warned you. Anyway, let me put the BGM on. Should I put on some Christmas background music, actually? I might get this VOD flagged, actually. No, I can't do that. There's no such thing as royalty-free Christmas music anymore. Unless, like, you self-produce it. It really sucks. I really would love to play some Christmas classics in the background of this, but, I would get probed. I would get probed. And I'm not looking for that this Christmas. I'm not looking for a thorough probing this Christmas. No. I'm looking to do the probe. I'm looking to be violent. I'm looking for some heinous business that we're going to get up to today. Now, what am I talking about? What am I talking about? Well, I was sitting here thinking, oh, well, what are the best Christmas decorations? What are the worst ones? Because I'm looking at your Earth decorations, and, you know, I have opinions about many of them. And then, you know, the thought kind of evolved. It's like, well, a lot of these are very impractical, but these would make great weapons. And then it hit me. Then it hit me. Then the ornament fell off the ceiling and it hit me right on the head. I blacked out. I woke up and I went, wham, that's a great idea for a stream. Play Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh, Nightcore Christmas remixes. I'm sure. Here's the thing. The bot systems have gotten good enough that now Nightcore is starting to get flagged as well, so there's no point in trying it. Katya, I'm sleepy and help. Oh, Des. Oh, Des. Do you want me to wake you up? Want me to wake you up here? I'll Where's my gun? Where'd he go? You're sleeping on the job? No, come on! Come on! I need to kill somebody! Come on, hurry up! Wake up! We've got a Christmas to ruin. Fine,
I rate the mistletoe
Chris.
S tier because it lures enemies into a false sense of security and attack range. Then you hit them with your baseball bat.
Aw, man, I gotta add mistletoe to the list. Pennyworth, that lazy piece of... You know what? My aim isn't great, but I do have a backup gun. Here. Now this one, unfortunately, is a proper 6-shooter, and it has real bullets in it, so not unlimited. But until he wakes up... There we go. I had a lot of fun doing a Vluplay request yesterday because somebody wanted me to insult Pennyworth, and so it was like a full 2 minutes of me and Pennyworth back and forth trading insane insults. If I can, I'm going to see if I can get him to reenact it so that I can show you guys later. You missed? Oh, shut up, Des. Anyway, let's start. Now, how this is going to work. The spirit of Christmas is the ultimate weapon. And as we go down, so I just took like a very normal, like, Christmas decorations tier list, blah, blah, blah. We're bastardizing it. We're making it evil by We're corrupting its baseline usage. So cringy Christmas is it doesn't work as a weapon at all, and Spirit of Christmas is what I distill in you before your lights are permanently unplugged. Okay. Now, I'd say the stocking is interesting because it's fabric, so it's very breathable. So if you put it over someone's head, they're probably not going to suffocate. Kind of like if you put a potato sack over someone's head, they'd still be able to breathe through it. Unless you got one of those acrylic ones, like those cheap dollar store ones. You can't breathe through that. That one you would suffocate someone with. So I'd say, you know, it's kind of mid-ground. Now, if you balled it up and you shoved it into somebody's mouth and they choked on it, you know, that's one way to stop them from being able to breathe. So you could still, there's methods. There's methods. I'd say it's not like the most effective way to kill someone. There are definitely easier ways to do it with some of the stuff on this list, but you could still get the job done with a stocking if you really needed to. Remember, it's close to the fireplace. True, but then at that point, if you're setting it on fire and you're throwing it at the person or whatnot, you're more so weaponizing the fireplace than you are the sock. So we'll put this in Merry and Bright for if you really need to obliterate someone, you really need to hitman to someone, you can make it work, but it's not ideal. It needs something else to combo for real damage, yeah. Put coal in it, yeah, so you could like whip it around and smack someone in the skull with it. That would work. Why in tarnation is my phone? Hold on, guys. The tracking's about to die. I plugged you in! I plugged you in! Hello? Come on! Am I gonna electrocute myself? Maybe. No, that's a surge protected one. Okay, hold on. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Come up with more creative ways to kill each other with a sock for a second. Okay. Will that work? There we go! It's a Christmas miracle. Alright. Alright. The Home Alone version. Ah, yeah. Stocking full of rocks is a classic all-time weapon. Hood classic. Hello? Hello, Molio. If you're a rat, we could just, you know, I could grab a bunch of tunes and just stuff them all in there. Suffocate them. If you have a very long stocking, it could be a noose. Oh, no. I don't know. I mean, if you had a really long stocking and you cut it into strips, you could, like, then form a rope and make it a noose. But again, there's more effective nooses on this list. So cute. It's not scuff if she's irredeemably precious the whole time. Moxie, I hope you castrate yourself one of these days. You're behaving like you were circumcised. You distress and disgust me. All right. Next one. The garlands. So, the garland is interesting because it depends on if it's a cheap garland or an expensive garland. Now, if it's a cheap garland, you're not going to get much use out of it in terms of as a weapon. It's going to be a little prickly, but it'll come apart at, like, the lightest tug. Have you ever tried to, like, wrap a cheap garland around a banister? That shit snaps into pieces. It's so delicate. Hey, Katya, do you realize your Christmas colors? Yes, I realize, and it tickles me. It makes me very happy. Now, if it's an expensive garland, it's got, like, more of a substantial rope to it, yes? So that one would be better for strangulation. But let's say, let's assume that you have a cheaper one. Not going to strangle someone very effectively with it. I think that the most effective method you would get is if they were pinned down and you were like shoving it into their throat. It would be a very effective like choker, like choking internally, you know, filling their lungs with it. Very painful way to go, especially since tinsel is nasty. And depending on like the quality of the garland, you could probably actually cut somebody with the tinsel. Again, wouldn't be ideal to use a garland, but you could make it work. Could be used for tripwire on traps. True. Garland decay, fire starter. Not if it's plastic. I mean, if you cut it into pieces and you shredded it and you dropped it all over the floor, very slippery. You could actually use it like to, you know, trip someone up and then have them fall on the real weapon. Now, Christmas train. I think if you strapped a knife to the end of this, or like a bunch of tacks or something, this could be very dangerous very quickly. There are ways to make a Christmas train very deadly and scary. Like if you set up the trap to go right above where they're sleeping, and then you have the train fall right above their head and the knife lands in their chest. There we go, that's a good one. Or if, let's say you had the chopped up garland pieces, they fumbled around on the ground and they Home Alone style fell on top of the train and it had a bunch of sharp objects attached to it. Very good, very interesting. As well, it's metal or plastic often, so it's very hard and sturdy. So you can always just grab one of the actual train carriages and just bludgeon someone with it. Now, that actually depends on your hand and your arm strength, right? So, you know, but I also think that's a good, you know, usage case of it. Are we just doing Christmas, or are we coming back to this for expansions? I'm not sure what you mean by expansions. Use toy trains as nunchucks. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, tie like a little wire or string between two carts, and you could use it as nunchucks. Can you imagine being clocked upside the head with like one of those metal train cars? I think that it's easier to cause real lasting damage with those electric train cars as well, because it's electric. Like, just plug the wire into the wall and cut the wire from the train, and then you have a live wire sticking out of the wall, and you could just electrocute someone with it. Like, there's so many things you could do. Thought booby traps weren't your style. Well, this is a scenario where you are stuck having to dispatch an enemy at, like, let's say a holiday party. Let's say I went to Earth, I went to Variance Project headquarters, and my op had broken into the office during a Christmas party. This is the company Christmas party, and my op has broken in. And I have an hour to try and figure out a way to get rid of this person before they burn the whole place down. And for some reason, none of my chapter mates and none of the other employees are doing anything. Let's say my op drugged them, okay? I have to defend myself Home Alone style. I'm late, but hi, I'm here. Hi, boss. Hello, Solicate. Train chucks. That sounds like a really weird throw up. I'm blowing train chunks. So that's why you want to make Christmas a thing in your world. Yeah, because, I mean, it's just like so much extra steps to experience it in your world, right? I'd rather just bring the tradition over here. They're taking an hour to do it. They're kind of bad at burning stuff. Well, no. You see, we kind of, like, VP's headquarters is like a supervillain base, right? It's got levels to it. It takes them an hour to get through every single level to the final boss, which is me. I'm the final boss. And by the time they get down to my level, or up to my level, I will be ready for them. All right. Good morning. Good morning, Koss. All right. So, we found some methods of dispatching via metal Christmas train. Now, candy canes are interesting, kind of like icicles, in that you can shatter them and have something very sharp that either disintegrates or gets sticky or whatever. I think candy cane absolutely is the spirit of Christmas. This is a god tier weapon. while there's more methods with the train, there's just something so classic and sinister about a shattered and sharpened, big, like, candy cane, you know? Imagine, like, sticking someone with it and then twisting it and shattering it inside of them. Like, that is, like, not only humiliating, that is, like, huge damage. And then it melts inside of them just, like, a little bit. And so, like, it's hard to get out. Deadly. Candy cane dust can blind too. Exactly. And again, have you ever had, like, candy cane, like, dust around? It gets super sticky. Like, just blowing on it warms it up just enough to make it sticky. So if you blow candy cane dust into someone's eyes, the wet from their eyes and the heat from your breath is enough to make it stick. Candy cane to the eye, instant classic. Certified classic. It hooks while whole and shanks when broke. What's not to love? Exactly. All right. Now, inflatable novelty creatures. This one is interesting. This one's interesting. If I was to use this as a weapon, I'd want to make this explosive. Like, I would want to fill this with hydrogen or helium or something flammable. Maybe helium. I'd like to fill this with helium. Because, of course, the VP office has, like, tanks of helium underground for our forbidden birthday parties, right? So I'd break into the storage room if I had an hour. I'd grab helium tanks and I'd fill this bad boy up to the max. And then when the guy comes in to try and dispatch of me, the final boss, I would spark it and I would make it explode. Now, would I die as well? Potentially. Is that a risk is that a risk that I'm willing to take? Absolutely. Now, is it a Spirit of Christmas level weapon? No, because inflatables can exist all year round. Helium isn't flammable. Helium is flammable. Mixture of air and gasoline vapors. Again, like, if I don't have helium, like, actual, like, gasoline itself as well, I could just siphon from, like, Red's car. He's not gonna need it. He's been dispatched by the enemy, right? So I'll just free gas for me. Helium is a noble gas, just like me. Yeah. But let's just say I don't have helium. We'll use the gasoline from the company car. Hear me out. The stocking would be amazing for waterboarding. You know what, Moxie? I don't take back the circumcision comment, but you did just elevate the sock. You did just elevate the sock one level. That makes it much more practical if you make it wet. All right. Now, Christmas tree. Christmas tree, I think, is a great way to kill someone. Now, of course, size does matter, and it does change the method of how you kill someone, but I feel like there's terrible and easy ways to kill people with all kinds of Christmas trees. We'll start with, like, the big Christmas tree because that's the easiest, right? You trap someone underneath, and then you set it on fire. Easy. They're dead. If it's really big, you just straight up crush them with a tree. Kind of like how when a tree falls in a forest and kills a mime, does anyone care? You know? You can make flour explode. Maybe it's the leftover ingredients from Christmas baking. Ooh, yeah. Now, I'm assuming this Christmas tree doesn't have ornaments on it, but if it does have ornaments, that makes it even more dangerous. If this Christmas tree doesn't have ornaments, the tree itself can kill you in many ways. You could, like, be trapped, set on fire, crushed by weight, depending on size. You could snip off branches and use it the same way you used a candy cane, and just use it as a shank. Just stab people with it. It's a wooden sword. Little dagger. Chat. Dagger. I don't even know her. What if it's an artificial tree, though? Well, maybe you can't catch it on fire, but you could still be crushed by it. You could still be stabbed by a plastic shank. Though if it was plastic, I would have to rely more heavily on the ornaments itself. Like if I had glass baubles or actual garlands, then, you know, the actual other pieces make it a bit more difficult. But then just why not do the classic, well, grab like if it's a plastic tree, like it comes in pieces usually, so you could just take the top off and shove it in their throat, shove it in their mouth. Easy. Easy. Fake trees have a metal frame, even better. Exactly. Just pick up the whole tree and start smacking them with it. Just start beating the snot out of them with it. No. A lot of trees also, or all trees really, they have like actual stands that they stand on. When it's a real tree, it's like a pot with like metal, like big metal twists in it. So, you know, really secure the thing. You just take those metal pieces out, and you could just kill someone with those. However, if it's a plastic tree, usually it's just like a star. You could get the plastic star, and you could just start like trying to cut someone with it. You just start trying to smack, bludgeon, get them in the eye. You know, easy, 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 easy. So I think a tree is a god tier Christmas weapon. Now, the candle centerpieces. Now, this one would be easy to use, but it's not very holiday-esque, right? Because candle centerpieces could be used all times a year. Maybe whatever. It's a candle. Just set them on fire. Just set them on fire. Use the melted wax and choke them with it. Or you just... I'd say this is more effective for just... It's boring. It's simple. It's plain. It's easy. You can decorate the tree with traditional poison mushrooms, and it would add +5 to poison damage. That would be kind of fun. You know, they enter the area to fight you, the final boss of Christmas, and they get a poison debuff. That's actually pretty smart. Poison debuff, Christmas tree, have my melee weapon candy cane. Now a Hanukkah candelabra. I mean, a Hanukkah, a menorah. Okay, this is for specifically Christmas. I know that Hanukkah is it's a very separate. It's the same time of year, but it is a very separate tradition. And Hanukkah decorations and traditions are vastly different. There's some crossover, but I'm not focusing on Hanukkah decorations today. Just Christmas ones, because that's what I have most knowledge in. In Romania, before Christianity came along, it was common for people of that region to kill bears and wear their skin as a way to ward off evil spirits. Carried on to this day as a Christmas tradition. That's metal. I love that. Plastic tree I have is 5 feet at the bottom to keep it stable. You can detach them, and that's 5 bludgeoning weapons. Exactly! You see the vision. My Christmas vision. Menorah, I thought that was called a dreidel. No, the dreidel is like a spinning top. A menorah is the candlestick. I think that is the extent of my knowledge on Hanukkah items. I don't really know anything else. Is the second non-negotiable an outhouse? No, that's an inflatable. That's an inflatable Christmas novelty. So we discussed that we would fill it with like a gasoline vapor or something, and then we would make it explode like a bomb. Now, Christmas wreaths. I feel like they're just inconvenient. Like, you can really force it to make it work, but like bludgeoning, it's impractical. It's heavy, sure, but like you can't even really choke someone out with it. Maybe you could pin someone to the ground with it, but like, nah. The only real method I could see that's practical is if it was an organic one made with like actual things and not plastic. So it was like tree branches wrapped in a circle, because then you could like necklace someone and light it on fire, right? But At that point, that's just too many steps. Mediocre shield. Could be used as necklacing. Alright. Now this one. God tier. This is the spirit of Christmas violence. Lights. Because not only can you rope someone with them, not only can you tie them up and then hurt them in other ways, you can electrocute them with this so easily. Just like one little frayed part of the wire, everything goes zap. You can catch them on fire with raw electricity. You could just electrocute them. As well, like, these things heat up so much. You get burns from, like, tightly pressed light bulbs against you. Garrot them. Yeah, you could garrot them too. Like, you could literally just choke them out. You could just, from behind, just wrap it around their neck, pull it tight. This is the spirit of Christmas. Christmas lights are what it's all about. This was actually the thing that made me want to make this list today. These truly have, like, shock value. Yeah? Stocks have never been so high for Christmas murder as they have been with Christmas lights. I was getting confused by how you were ranking the Christmas decorations until I read the whole title of the stream. So, this tier list, I didn't actually name these tiers. This is just like a regular Christmas decoration tier list as to, like, how people like their Christmas decorate. I co-opted it. I stole it. And I'm making it better. Shock value, what are we? Dogs? You know, let's stop being funny a month ago. Jackie Chan got hospitalized because of a stunt involving Christmas lights. Exactly! They're dangerous! They're perfect. The Grinch if it was epic. Oh, shut up, you, Gary Coleman. Alright. Baubles. Baubles, you can make them work. I feel like you're gonna have a hard time killing someone with them outright. You can injure them really easy. Like, really easy. Like, you can hurt someone real bad with these. But killing them outright, it takes a lot of effort, I feel. Unless, like, this is, like, specifically glass and you shatter it, so if you have a big fragment, you could slit somebody's throat, right? But more often than not, it's hard to get, like, the perfect shatter and the perfect shape. So you probably just get sharp fragments that you could just cut shallowly with. Or if you have somebody fall on a bunch of them, like, they could spike themselves quite a lot with it. But I feel like there's too much effort that goes into this. Terrible fear of broken glass getting in my food. You know, if you grind it up, a glass Christmas ornament, and you put it in the food, like, just so it's just small enough but big enough, you know, I feel like you'd have control there. But in the scenario where somebody's broken into the Variance headquarters and they're trying to defeat me, are they really going to stop and eat? Are they going to stop and have time to have food? No, I feel like if you want to assassinate someone with a Christmas ornament, that would be the way to do it. But if you're trying to defend yourself in a life or death situation with a time limit, that might be impractical. Classic Christmas prank. Sounds like too much effort when the other decorations get the same result easier. Exactly. Now, you could, like, use it to blind someone. Like, if you got big enough shards and just shoved it in their eyes, that also works. You gotta be careful, though. You gotta make sure that you've got, like, leather gloves or something, because you could just as easily, like, stick your own hands, and then you're in a pickle. Yes? Yes. Now, gingerbread house. Again, this falls in the same area of, well, are they allergic? There you go, it's easy. You want to forcibly, like, make them choke on it and they can't breathe. You can get it done, but I feel like it's a lot harder to force pieces of gingerbread into someone's mouth, like, at enough of a velocity where they're not just eating it or spitting it out. Whereas if you have, like, a big stick and you're shoving it in their throat, or a big tree branch, it's a lot harder to fight back against. But pieces of gingerbread, it's like, I feel like there's, you know, a lot more effort that goes into it. This is low tier. Yeah. I mean, again, you could theoretically find ways to kill someone with it. But honestly, I'm putting it at the bottom. Gingerbread is definitely hard enough to stab someone, harder than a candy cane. What gingerbread are you eating? Huh? What if you poisoned the gingerbread house and you fed them without telling? Again, you can make it work, but that's a lot of setup and a lot of time that we don't have in the scenario. If I was left in a room, locked in a room with somebody that was going to kill me that second, I don't have time to poison and then convince them to eat. They're notorious for breaking apart. Like, okay, I don't know what kind of gingerbread you guys are eating, but the gingerbread that I've eaten, like, it's like a little firm, but it's like soft. Like, it's like a sugar cookie just with like a little bit more give.
How many times have you watched the Home Alone movies? I feel like you got this idea from them? Thoughtful face emoji, but the best Christmas weapon is holiday songs, musical notes emoji, musical notes emoji, smirking face emoji.
The best weapon is Christmas songs, especially if you're fighting YouTube. Yeah, best weapon for YouTube. If they catch you playing Christmas songs, they kill you on the spot. Mariah carries a cognito hazard. Stale gingerbread throwing stars. I guess there's an argument for stale. I don't know. I've never had gingerbread that's that hard before. I think display gingerbread is a lot stiffer than versions intended to be eaten. Why would you make a gingerbread house that you don't intend to eat? People do that? Make something worth eating. Don't waste everybody's life and time. What? Alright. Christmas sweater. This one, I feel like you could get a few methods of killing somebody. Again, same as like the stocking. If you got it wet, you could waterboard them. However, sweaters, you could unravel. And you could just strangle like a Christmas light. Now, of course, they're a little more fragile, so it would break. So you'd have to, like, try it a few times. But, like, you could definitely do that, you know? Ugly body armor. Let's go. Why did I just get 3 alerts saying somebody's trying to log into my account? Jesus, Ray! Scaring me. I just got like notifications that all of my accounts were being logged into, and I'm like, and then my boss afterwards sends me a message saying, "Oh, by the way, I'm doing this." Red! Red, I've got a candy cane and I'm not afraid to use it. Hacker rat. Yeah, hacker rat. Guys, quit hacking my stream. Alright. Enough of that. I thought it was gonna be the Venezuelans. Nah. Just the Europeans. Alright, now, this is supposed to be jingle bells with mistletoe. I'm gonna have both of them at the same time here. Mistletoe is a good distraction. You could, like, swap it out, bring somebody over, and then beat them with something. I don't know. As, like, I know that the berries on mistletoe are actually highly poisonous, but again, in a life or death scenario, you're not working a poison, you know? Jingle bells, they're just inconvenient. I think that they're one of the worst weapons. So these two, no. Bottom tier. Boss starts shilling bitcoins. The day my boss starts shilling bitcoins, I know he has been replaced with a skinwalker. Was I trying to log into my account, right? I need to give Fido a walloping. They're good for an alarm distraction, but don't see them as a weapon. Yeah. I think they're like a good accessory, but not like an actual like death blow. Okay, now, Christmas crackers. This is like a gotcha, so to speak. I'd still have it low tier. I wouldn't recommend it. You could still make it work in some ways, but not reliable, you know? No. I just thought about it again. No matter what you get in it, none of it is conducive to our final ultimate goal, the victory. Again, a good distraction, but an actual killing piece? Nah. Never got the point of those things. Well, the point of them is to pop them all at like a dinner at the same time, and then everybody wears the party hat, and they tell the joke around the dinner table that they got inside of the cracker. And then if there's little kids, they use the secondary prize to distract themselves while the adults are talking. You shouldn't be using them outside of dinner scenarios because they're boring or not useful. Dinner or just food scenarios in general where everybody's forced to sit in a circle. What if you get a knife? Nobody ever gets a knife in those things. Very quaint. It's an older way of life. Now, the final two are some of my favorite. Ceramic nativity scenes. Ceramic nativity scenes are peak bludgeoning and shattering weapons. Projectile baby Jesus. Now, this might be one of the more sacrilegious weapons. But picture this. Ceramic is very good at holding heat. Stick ceramic in like a candle or in a fire. You got something super hot. You got something painful. You shatter it, you can stab the crap out of somebody. It's heavy. And it doesn't break easy, but when it breaks, you know, it's sharp. So you can really like clobber someone over the head with it. You could fracture a skull with Joseph and Mary. You could use the wise men to make him feel like a wise guy. Yeah? I'm gonna head out for 5 minutes. I'm so sorry, Sakana. Yes. Now, while you don't get the most uses out of it, like usage cases, I think it's a very iconic, Christmassy kind of way to get out, you know, to go. Oh, Kobo, it's your birthday? Happy birthday. I got the IKEA shark plushie yesterday. It was my birthday. Oh, you got the Blahaj, huh? I know what you are. Could also be put on a shelf and conspicuously and set to fall booby trap style. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Can you imagine falling from a high... It's like if a big rock fell on your head and cracked it open. What are we getting for Christmas? Certain death, apparently. Now, the Nutcracker. This one is controversial to me. I have many mixed opinions about the Nutcracker. Many mixed opinions about the Nutcracker. Because historically, they were built very, very differently. I would still put it up here, but I would say a traditional nutcracker would go up there. A modern nutcracker, often it doesn't even have the mechanical hinge on it anymore. You go look to get a new one, and they're all just like visual slop, and they're held together with hot glue. They're not sturdy things. Old style nutcrackers were actually strong enough to crack like walnuts. That's what they were for. The designing of them and the ornation of them came later. Yeah. So if it's a new nutcracker, your nuts will probably crack it before it cracks you, right? Like, you could use it for like a bludgeoning thing. Sure. Whatever. You get the bludgeoning use no matter what. Old style one, though, you could break a finger with it. You could break a nose with it. Anything you stick in there, you can snap. Quick question: Is this stream being made as preparation for the beating people to death in the streets with Christmas decorations Christmas special, Katya? Of course, of course. I have to prepare you guys for your mission. You know how Pippa had people pilgrimage all the way to the Mothman statue? I need you guys to storm into the streets of wherever your local principalities are, wielding nutcrackers, ceramic Jesus, Christmas lights, and sharpened candy canes, and to go after all of the homeless children on the streets and give them some Christmas cheer. You need to clean up the riffraff. You need to make Chiron a more beautiful, wholesome place. And what's more beautiful and wholesome than spreading Christmas cheer? Time to raid TJ Maxx. If you see a little matchstick girl in the snow shivering, looking inside at somebody's nice warm Christmas dinner, it is your sacred duty as a wonderful Chironite citizen to show this child eternal rest by, filling a stocking full of rocks and hitting them over the head so that they can keep on dreaming that wonderful dream but not have to feel the numbness of the snow. If there's a homeless man panhandling, what you do is you get the inflatable Santa decoration and you take it to him. It's filled with gasoline vapor and you explode him. This is just practical. This is what you do during the holiday season. How humanitarian of you, Katya. Of course. I am nothing if not a person for the people. Baby Jesus in the stocking for holy damage. That's crazy. Hi, boss. How are you? I'm getting banned on every platform. Katya's heart will grow 2 sizes. I think that's a medical condition, actually. I think that's not desirable. You see, as well, this is also, very good for us financially if we do this. All right? We're saving money on weaponry that we would have otherwise had to have import specifically for the holiday season. Nice cheap weapons. And, we lubricate the economy by taking the money that these people were wasting, The social services that they were spending so much time and effort, taking advantage of, and redirecting it to more deserving people, like me. Yes. All those soup kitchens, they're so full, they can't operate at the proper capacity. However, if we thin out the population this Christmas, the families that do manage to make it in there, they're going to have so much more. They're going to be so much happier. They're going to be so much more content. Don't you want to be responsible for filling a family's belly, leaving them so happy, peaceful, and content this Christmas? I know you do. Be kind to low-income households and kill a homeless person today. using candy canes to take care of the homeless. Fascinating. Starving orphans will eventually stop starving if you leave them alone. You'd think that, wouldn't you? But they're resourceful, like little rats. You would know, wouldn't you? You see, people, if they're not prideful, they will do any and everything to survive, including like biting the heads off of live animals and just eating them like that. Sometimes it'll like backfire and they'll die from like a disease, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they live their whole lives in a very feral kind of way. Would you really want to wish ferality on a poor, innocent child? No, that's no way to live. That's no way to live at all. No. It is your moral obligation.
Is your casino funded by Soros? Jesus, woman.
You can't say that. You can't say that here. But Katya, my mama's kind of homeless. And she will appreciate when I get rid of all the other homeless people, because then there's going to be more space for her at the shelter. There's going to be more food for her at the soup kitchen. You're welcome. You're welcome. You should be gracious for my charity work for your mother. All right. Now, earlier, I put a Q&A up. What is the best and worst Christmas traditions that you know of and celebrate? I'm going to crack open those questions now. All right. Will we get a Katya Sable bikini model? That's not a Christmas tradition! Favorite Christmas food or meal? Again, that isn't a Christmas tradition. That's not the best and worst Christmas tradition. That's a question. I think you should be flogged and publicly humiliated on the streets for not being able to read instructions. But I'm a merciful person. I'll just kill you. All right. Toast Engineer says, all that happened at Christmas when I was a kid is that I got... I'll pre-read these before saying them out loud. Is that I got beat more than usual. Merry Christmas, Toast! You know what? I guess that does count as a worst Christmas tradition. I think you have the current crown for worst Christmas tradition. I'm looking forward to reading more of these. Worst Christmas tradition, says Justin Curry. Pretending to like extended family. Best Christmas tradition, having a reason to sleep in more. Those aren't traditions. Those are circumstances. I'm starting to think that my tunes are illiterate. Guys, we gotta up the literacy rate in the casino. I think we're gonna have to start like a night school for you guys. Okay. Best Advent calendars. Okay, there we go. There's an actual tradition. Excellent. Although it is one of those more modern ones. I'm not a fan of it myself. But I think it's more effective for kids than adults. You'd be surprised. White women love their Advent calendars. It is absurd. The worst people you know lose their marbles over Advent calendars. Like, okay, children like them. They're cute. They're quirky. The most irritating people you know, they wait all year for Christmas Advent calendars. Now, do normal people like those? Well, sure. I'm sure there is some. But just like how Sanrio girlies or girls that like Junji Ito or the landmine Jirai Kai girls exist, Advent calendar girls are one and the same. It is a Venn diagram, and they are in that circle. Like, If you get too excited about Advent calendars, I don't trust you. You're not trustworthy. You're not safe. Have you heard of the Christmas log in Spain? A wooden log with the face set up, covered with a blanket, then the children beat it until it poops out gifts. You know, I don't know too much about the Earth Principality of Spain. But I'm deciding to believe you. I'm gonna believe you on that. I'll just take it at face value. Why not? That sounds like something the Spanish would do. Worst Christmas tradition, any song sung by the Beatles. That's crazy! I know somebody who's gonna go into conniptions if I tell them that that was said today on stream. It's exactly an hour in. I'm gonna make sure to send them the timestamp so that she starts crying. I always figured Junji Ito's art would be way too scary for the average woman. You are a very naive little creature. Let me put it this way. I'm going to be very insensitive when I say this. But there's a reason why mostly women cut themselves or self-mutilate in a physical way. Women are very unsettlable creatures, and they do really tend to like disturbing media very often. A stereotypical girl, or one that is performing perfectly, will not indulge in such things. But there is a very, very large female market for things like Junji Ito. Anyway. Best tradition, food. Worst tradition, no gifts. Well, that's like lack of tradition then, Toysoku. J. Artemis says, the itchy-ass sweaters. My family never wore them, but I wouldn't lie and say they looked embarrassing to wear. Yeah, ugly Christmas sweaters. I hate that, like, as a modern thing. The idea of a quote-unquote ugly Christmas sweater started, like, in the 80s, I think? But before then, they weren't called ugly Christmas sweaters. They still existed, but they were just Christmas sweaters that were handmade by grandparents that got quirkified and got commodified and commercialized. And so it went from an innocent gift made with actual love from someone to someone else to, oh, we can make a quick buck. And so the Christmas sweater market started, and then it just evolved, and now it's like this whole quirk chungus thing. Nah. I revile such things. A lot of modern traditions are steeped in the most absurd, money-grubbing things. Like, Elf on a Shelf? I hate Elf on a Shelf. That's something that only came into existence in the last 15 years. Quite genuinely. It did not exist. It never existed before 15 years ago. And then somebody somewhere had it as one family quirky tradition thing, and now it's everywhere. I hate it. It's stupid. Kind of like how I hate how, oh, man. Do you know what I hate? Now that I'm thinking about it, the gnomes. Oh my god. I hate gnomes. I hate the holiday gnomes. I hate the holiday gnomes so much. You see them all over dollar stores. Valentine's, they were there. They were like the garden gnomes that were on every print everywhere. Who likes them? Who thinks they're cute? Why are they trying to force this to be a trend? Little gnome stuffies, gnome plushies. Like, no. It's like the most painfully millennial thing I've ever seen. Like, it's somebody brought a gnome pillow into the casino a few days ago, and I was livid. I was livid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. I don't care if you think it's cute. I don't care if it feels holiday-like because he's got a long white beard and a pointed hat and he's wearing green. I don't care. That's not Christmas. That's not anything. You were trying to make it fall. You were trying to make it Valentine's. You were trying to make gnomes happen at Easter. I don't want your stupid gnomes. Gnomes are a Christmas thing. They're trying to make them an everything thing. Kind of like how... Sorry. Kind of like how for a while it was like, oh, we gotta put alpacas on everything. We gotta put narwhals on everything. We gotta put owls on everything. Now it's gnomes! And I hate them! Gnomes live in the gardens of old decrepit to plot the downfall of neighbors. Right? No, like it's stupid! It's stupid. And pink. Pink this year is also like a trend. And I'm seeing pink gnomes! Pink Christmas gnomes! This is horseshit! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is buffoonery! For those who don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put you on to why I hate the gnomes. Once you realize that they're everywhere, you are going to lose it. Like, if you haven't noticed them yet, you will notice them. Like, this is your sign to start noticing how awful these things are. Ugh. Hold on, where's my OBS? Where is my OBS? Am I back? Guys, the gnomes got me. Anyway, so Valentine's Day gnomes are a thing too. Okay, guys. Are we back? Let us agree to not talk about you know what anymore. Let it. The gnomes are getting me, guys. The gnomes are getting me. The gnomes are after me. The gnomes are after me.